So, you know, if you don't know what's going on, if you can't empathize, if you can't put yourself in those people's shoes, the shooters in Denver, they were gay. One was gay and the other one was transgender, a female turning into a male. And then apparently they were friends. But they also loved devil worshiping. They had 666, society sucks. They spray painted on their nice little, you know, nice little brand new white car about how, you know, they had a pentagram, so they loved the devil. They had a picture of a devil in their, it was all about deviltry. And whereas Christians frustrate me because they're brainwashed and they think that they're good, but they're not. They just say that they're good. At least they pick goodness, I think. I think they're just saying, some of them just say that they're Christians and it's just supposed to mean that they're good. But you have to choose goodness. And that's the concern I have for everybody in America. It comes to the religious people, and it comes to the atheist, when it comes to the devil worshippers. What the devil worshippers have done is they said, okay, you got good and you got bad. I'm going to choose bad. Well, that's bad. You can't. You're going to be evil, and evil comes from powerlessness. Evil comes from powerlessness. When you have no power, then you say, well, then that means I have to do these crazy things. When you start empowering people, when you say, okay, you matter, you're a part of this thing, when you give people a paycheck, when you give them a position, when you give them a position of authority, that's when, you know, they can stand up for themselves. They can stand up for other people. But that's not how it is with the students in the school system. They're on the bottom of the totem pole. So students are on the bottom of the totem pole, right? Students are on the bottom of the totem pole, and they have no power, and we're going to sit there and pretend that teaching them obedience to authority is going to make them good and great and awesome. You're taking a powerless person and you're just taking more power away from them. And the school system's not teaching us finances. It's not getting us a job. It's not working on getting us a job. It's not working on making sure we get along. We're not being, you know, taught to how to, you know, fill out a paycheck or fill out a, you know, write a check. There's a lot of problems in America. You want to sit there and just point out, this is a bourgeoisie white, this is Hillary Clinton. These are bourgeoisie, you know, stuck-up, middle-class people that don't have to worry about poverty, don't have to worry about police brutality, don't have to worry about the, you know, homeless or the corruption. They got a lawyer. They got, you know, they get a say-so. They get to be able to defend themselves. They are empowered. They are empowered already. And since they don't have to worry about any of these other issues, they skip all these other issues. Let's just skip right over all these issues. They're not in Palestine being bombed. You know, they're not in Venezuela or Syria or Somalia or Niger. So, an old person, okay, so somebody had mentioned, well, these shootings never happened when I was a kid. I don't know what the hell's wrong with these kids again. Right? It's the millennials' fault. It's the damn kids, the damn whippersnappers. What's up with these? Okay, it's only one here and there, okay? So, you know, 99.9% of the kids aren't engaged in this. They are the victims of this. Or, you know, I guess some of them are bullying. But you don't deserve deaths for that. That's not justice. So, you know, most of the kids in America are not doing this. It's happening here and there. We got, you know, 300 million people. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of people. There's 5 million people in Kentucky. So, you know, what, one person did something back in the 90s? Is that happening all the time? No, we got the internet, so you're hearing about it all the time. The media loves the blood. If it bleeds, it leads. If it's gory, it's a story. So they're going to shove all that bloodshed right in front of you and then just give you, you know, crocodile tears. Oh, my gosh, look how, you know, look at this. This is so bad. Yeah, right, you fucking stuck-up bourgeoisie, middle-class, stuck-up elitist son of a bitch. You don't know what it's like to be poor. You don't know what it's like to struggle. You don't know what it's like to be in an area where you have no security. You don't know what it's like. So people want to sit there and say, oh, this never happened when I was a kid. Stuff like this never happened when I was a kid. Fuck you. Fuck you. It did happen when you were a kid, okay? You didn't have the internet, so it wasn't shoved in front of your face. Here's a couple examples, but it was easy as hell to find these. So I'm sure if I, you know, dug deeper, I'd be able to find some more. Now, in 1979, January 29th, 1979, at the Grover Cleveland Elementary School in San Diego, California, Brenda Spencer, 16 years of age. Brenda Spencer, 16 years old, killed the principal, a janitor, and injured 8 kids and a police officer. killed the principal, killed the janitor, injured 8 other kids, and a police officer. So you still have Brenda Spencer still in prison as of April 2019. So as of last month, Brenda Spencer has been in prison because of the 1970s generation. This is 1979. It didn't happen when you were a kid? Well, what the hell is this then? You know, what am I talking about? 1979? Were you born in the 1920s? 1979 is 40 years ago. It didn't happen. Bullshit. It did happen when you were a kid. You just didn't pay attention. She's 16 years old. Well, I mean, my God, that's the same age as those other kids. The civil rights kids were killed. Civil rights kids were killed a whole bunch of times for sitting at the lunch counters with you racist assholes, you white supremacists, segregationists, pieces of shit, you Confederate fucking assholes. Well, and you're going to say, what, racism don't exist? It definitely exists today, but it existed in an institutional form. Blacks only could use, you know, stay on one side of the town, use this water fountain, that bathroom, couldn't sit in the, bowling alley. The Orangeburg Massacre in Orangeburg, South Carolina, 3 black youths were murdered for protesting an end of segregation at a local bowling alley. Bowling. Who gives a fuck about bowling? But it was the principle. You're black and you're not allowed to go bowl. Why? What's wrong with that? Something wrong, black folks? And white people, white racists in Orangeburg, South Carolina, killed 3 black youths. And that was, you know, in the 60s. So you got 60s, you got 79, and August 1st, 1966, August 1st, 1966, you had Charles Whitman. He's a Texas college shooter. So Charles Whitman had a crew cut. He's a Marine, you know, so he's the one that you're saying it's okay to give them guns to go kill a bunch of Palestinian kids, but you're going to sit there and what? Tell him he's a soldier. He might have been a police officer. He's allowed to have all the guns he wants. It's never happened as a kid, right? Nobody ever got killed when you was a kid. Well, Charles Whitman killed people. Charles Whitman, he looked like an all-American, crew-cut Marine. Boy, he killed his mother and his wife. He stabbed them to death, right? So that wasn't even, that doesn't even, you know, there's some humanity, right? If the death penalty is to be used, you could make them suffer. You could just do it quick. He's stabbing them. So that's an awful way to die. Charles Whitman stabbing his mom, stabbing his wife to death. Then he goes to the main tower building at the University of Texas in Austin, and he killed 16 people. It didn't happen when you was a kid, huh? It didn't happen when you was a kid. No, this guy killed 16. So, you know, one person got killed in Denver, and R.I.P. to that kid. You know, it's a tragedy. We shouldn't be murdering people. We should not be killing people. Murder is the worst crime out here. But we allow the cops to get away with murder. We allow the military to kill whoever they wanted to. And let's, you know, bring up the My Lai Massacre. My Lai Massacre, that's during the Tet Offensive, March 16th, 1968. What did we do in the My Lai Massacre? Well, the American, there was one guy, there was actually a great guy, okay? So you had a good soldier that said, let's stop murdering kids. But America didn't listen to Hugh Thompson Jr. Hugh Thompson Jr. actually saved 16 kids in a bunker that was, you know, in My Lai. They're in a village in Vietnam, and Hugh Thompson Jr. came across this absolute massacre. This absolute just kill anybody and everything. Who gives a shit? William Calley Jr. So William Calley Jr. is the lieutenant, and he tells everybody to kill everybody in the village, women, children, old people. 504 unarmed innocent Vietnamese were killed. 504! 504! And then there was gang rape of all the women. So what did America do with this guy who initiated, you know, there was other soldiers involved, but he was the one in charge, so he's the one that gets, you know, he's a scapegoat. But what happens to him? He gets convicted, right? He gets convicted for killing 100 of the you know, the ones that they could prove. 504 is the total that was killed in the My Lai Massacre. 504! 504 people were killed. Don't think of the number. Think of them as the individuals. 504 people with faces and personalities. You know, that some like to tell jokes. Some were, you know, into science. Other ones were into, you know, this and that. 504. So 504 people were killed in the My Lai Massacre. So the United States government Because Hugh Thompson Jr. is also an American soldier. He saved 16 kids. They said, let's just kill them. And he says, just wait a second. Let me go in there and save them. He went in there, pulled them out, led them to the helicopter, and he saved them. He saved 16 kids from My Lai massacre. Hugh Thompson Jr. is a goddamn hero. The Vietnam War, the whole fucking thing was bullshit straight from the beginning. For empire, for imperialism, because they're communists. I thought Americans believe in freedom. Let them be communist. It's just an economic system that's different than capitalism. Let them be communist. But Hugh Thompson Jr. didn't think like that. He killed 504 people. And what happened to him is he just gets 3 years of house arrest. He got convicted, right? You get convicted of one person, then you go to jail for the rest of your life. He killed 504. Didn't even go to jail. Got to stay inside his house for 3 years. And then he was paroled. And now he's a free man. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. So William Calley Jr. is allowed to kill 504 kids. But don't take away their guns. Don't stop that war. No, no, no. Those kids don't matter. Hugh Thompson Jr. saved 16 kids. He, spoke about what happened. He spoke the truth. He wasn't believed. He's ostracized. He's told to keep it down. What happened to him? He got demoted. He didn't have, he's a hero. But he didn't get a hero's welcome. Yeah, murders didn't happen when you was a kid. Hell, y'all killed JFK, y'all killed RFK, y'all killed MLK. Sit there and put this on the entire generation. It didn't happen when we were kids. Y'all killed Martin Luther King Jr. You killed Robert F. fucking Kennedy. You killed JFK. And you killed all those people in the My Lai massacre. It didn't happen when you was a kid. Oh, yeah, it didn't happen when you was a... Bullshit. Shut the fuck up, you liar. Yeah, the good old days, right? When there was segregation, and then also the economy was totally different. Back in the 50s and 60s, college, you could work a summer's job and pay for college. Work a summer's job at an ice cream stand, save enough money, get $1,000 bucks, put yourself through 4 years of college. There's plenty of factory jobs everywhere, right? If you didn't want to go to college, go in and get a factory job, get a decent wage, and you'd be able to afford a house. Houses were cheap. Most Americans could afford a house. Most Americans were getting these factory jobs. You could go to college for cheap, for a dime. So it didn't happen when you was a kid. Again, it's the middle class, the same middle class assholes that are around today, the bourgeoisie. The Democrats are bourgeoisie. People want to, I made a comment about the Democrats saying, take the guns, and then the Republicans saying, I don't care. And then someone was like, I've never heard Democrats say, okay, well, you haven't been listening. And the Republicans don't say they don't care. They say it's mental health. So the shit that people say, there's, stronger feelings behind it. For the argument's sake, they won't admit to it, but get the fuck out of here. Yeah, right. The Republicans care so much about about the mental health. They don't finance mental health, but they care so much about mental health. Yeah, right. The Democrats are not opposed to the Second Amendment. I've heard liberals say it over and over again. Oh, I don't care if I take them all away. I don't care. I want to take them all away. Is it everybody? No, it's not. I said it for a fact, but people, the Democrats, well, they're bourgeoisie too. The white middle class in the 50s and 60s and 70s, yeah, they're in gated communities. They're doing fine. They're doing fine. They didn't see none of this stuff. What do you mean? This stuff doesn't happen. That's why black folks are Democrats, because they know that shit's been needing to change for a long time. The shit happens frequently. It happens all the time. But you're going to ignore that there's corruption in the judicial system, that there's corruption with the prosecution, and even the public pretenders and the cops. Yeah, you're going to sit there and say that Donald Trump is Adolf Hitler, but let's just give all the guns to, Adolf Hitler. Let's just give it to, that's how they killed the Jews, that's how they killed the black slaves, that's how they killed the Native Americans. Take their guns away. Take all the power that they have away from them. Make sure they have no power whatsoever. Americans are not empowering people. They are not, let's go empower people. It's, hey, you got something better than me, then I want to take it away from you. Remember when we were coming up, it wasn't like that. We used to, tag each other in the balls, shove our hands straight up people's butt crack. The good old, just good old days. Just having a good old time, just a little bit of fun here and there. So, You know, that's bullshit. I can't stand it. The damn whippersnappers, right? Okay, this one bad thing happens in Denver, so even in that school, 99% of those kids in that school are innocent. They are not violent people, and they're not going to do anything like that. So you want to sit there and blame an entire generation? You want to sit there and punish the entire nation because of, you know, what this one crazy person did? And if you get, you know, let's say you do all the things that you want to background check, close the loopholes, get rid of all the assault rifles, that shooting in Denver still happens. That shooting, you know, at the University of Texas in Austin, that still happens. These 3 black youths, they still get killed. Brenda Spencer had a pistol. So you want to sit there and say that you're only trying to, you know, roll it back? Well, guns are still going to be around until you change the Second Amendment. You know, the guns are going to be around, so even a pistol, you know, can do some damage. So, for a caveat, I don't hate Gen Xers. I don't hate anybody. I hate people that hate the millennials. I hate people that just, you know, scapegoat all the youth, all the young people, right? They don't know what the hell they're doing. The millennials, those who was born between 1982 and 1992, they're the problem. The millennials, the ones that got Obama elected, the ones who's going to get Bernie Sanders elected. So I don't hate Gen Xers, I don't hate the baby boomers, I don't hate any of the older generations. I am very disappointed with you all. The 60s failed, and you know, you ran to the establishment, got jobs, and then forgot about all the shit you were fighting for. The 90s, we had welfare reform, we had NAFTA, we had the crime bill. That's Republican stuff. What progressive legislation did Gen X pass? Thanks for the Clintons, Gen X. Thanks for letting O.J. Simpson go free, Gen X. Thanks for the Goonies, Gen X. A bunch of weird kids walking on the train tracks. And so, you know, it's just absolutely insane. It is insane. It's so insane that people in their 40s are going to talk to the people in their 50s, shaking their fist at the people in their 30s. Oh, okay, right. Well, this would be these aren't the, you know, if you want to be specific, it's not the millennials that just did this. This would be Generation Z or Generation A. I guess it'd be Generation Z because we're still 2019. So Generation Z, you going to shake your fist at Generation Z? Or no, let's see, Y would be, yeah, that's right. Right. Yes. So I guess I'm just going to talk about the incident. Okay, so I got a bunch of information here. So if you're being serious about the discussion, then look at the motivations, look at the reasons, look at the things that were happening. So you had this little gay boy who was into, you know, the deviltry and evil and all this evil shit. He had 666, a pentagram. He had a devil for, you know, on his Instagram or Snapchat. Devin Erickson, he's a gay male, he's 18, has an absolutely clean record, had a traffic ticket or something, but that's it. He said he is addicted to pain, he's part of the furry community, he lives in Highlands Ranch, so, you know, in a suburb. He had a white Honda Civic, and on the side of it, it said, "Fuck Society 666, a pentagram." He's a devil worshiper, he's choosing evil, and he's telling the whole world he's evil. Evil comes from weakness. So, you know, Christians scare because they're brainwashed, but devil worshippers are worse. They are saying straight up, we're not going to pretend to be good, we're not going to be good, we're going to be evil. We're choosing evil over good. And why would a reasonable, logical person do that? Unless they're in some kind of pain. So, Brendan Biley is credited with tackling one of the gunmen, Kendrick Castillo. So R.I.P. Kendrick Castillo, he's one of the kids that stood up. He's an 18-year-old, and he tried to take the guns from one of them, and then he got shot and killed. There were others that were injured. 8 were injured total, so 1 was killed in the Denver shooting, and then 8 were injured. Suburban Denver STEM school shooting. So this is a charter school, private school, in the suburbs, within 10 miles from Columbine. 420 was the 20th anniversary of it, just last month. Then there was a lot of questions, actually. Is it a girl? Is it a boy? Is it a boy? Is it a girl? Is it a girl? Is it a boy? And they at first said it was a male juvenile, and Alec is what she went by, but Alec was a female who was transitioning to a male. And that makes sense. Don't say female or male to me. I want to know what the hell is actually going on. You're getting surgical, you're getting hormone treatment. You were a man and now you're a female. Okay, now I know what the hell is going on. Oh, you're just a female, you're born female parts, you can have babies, huh? Oh, no, none of that? Well, what the hell is going on? Just tell me the truth. Tell me the truth. And it's actually crazy how the media is bending over backwards to respect these two killers and their assholes. They deserve the death penalty. Fuck them. You know, and liberals would be against the death penalty, right? They murdered an innocent guy, an innocent kid. Kendrick Castillo was just trying to save his classmates. So eventually, Alec is also Maya. Maya's born female, transitioning to a male. She's 15. And in fact, she's a juvenile, so they weren't even saying who she was. Okay, well, Kendrick Castillo is going to die. I want to know who the fuck these assholes are. I want to know what the hell they did and why they did it. I want to know every bit of it. I want to know, the motivations. I want to know what they were going through, why they thought it was a good idea. And I want to put all these pieces together. These are not poor students. These are not poor folks. They're, living in the subdivision, going to a private school. Well, I mean, what the hell, you would think that they should be doing okay. But are they getting hit? Is there child abuse? Are they being bullied? I mean, they're, transgendered, so I bet you that they're being bullied, a gay male. I bet you they're being bullied. So they're getting bullied. Is there child abuse? The corruption of society and living in a violent society, all those things are contributing factors. You're going to ignore all those things, right, and then pass a law that wouldn't even stop them. Background check wouldn't have stopped Devin Erickson or Alec McKinney from getting a gun and killing Kendrick Castillo. So what the fuck are you all talking about? You're not actually using the evidence. You have a conclusion and you're just trying to, push this thing through. And you're making the Republicans look like goddamn geniuses. Erickson loved The Walking Dead, so there's some sick culture. There's a dead-loving culture. His Snapchat name was Devin Kills. Devin Kills. Oh, okay, there's Devin Kills. One of them had pink or purple hair, had a Nirvana hoodie. There's another red flag right there, a Nirvana hoodie. Nirvana's good music, but it's suicide music. It's depressing music. So if you're sad and you kind of want to just, work through it, but know that you're listening to suicide music. I mean, if you listen to Something in the Way, something in the way, something in the way, it is haunting. So those are the facts right there. One was killed, 8 were injured. Brendan Biley is credited with tackling one of the gunmen. They pulled a gun out of a guitar case. 18-year-old Kendrick Castillo. I guess it would be interesting to know what gun it was. I don't think it was an assault rifle. It seems like they would have jumped up and down right on that one. But, yeah, all the proposed laws that you're talking about, was there a bump stock? Were they using bump stocks? Isn't that what we did last time? We made bump stops illegal. Or stocks. They didn't use bump stocks, so that, your solutions are fucking bullshit. The society is sick, and society, you start baking blueberry pies for these kids. If you don't ever bake a blueberry pie for any of these kids, I don't want to fucking hear it. Yeah, you care so much, don't you? You just care. You're just overwhelmed with love, and you just care so much. You don't give a shit. You don't fucking give a shit. Somebody typed on the STEM school Wikipedia page under their suicide program. Does it work? We shall see. So somebody was in the suicide program. That could have been a red flag there. So, there's different... They're definitely sad people. They're sad, they're depressed, and they want to hurt people. And why? How did it get to them? They're human, so it's not hard to, briefly, we need to care about the victims first. Care about the victims first. Care about Kendrick Castillo. Kendrick Castillo, R.I.P., man. So once we care about the victims, put yourself in the position, in their shoes, and what would push you to go do something like that? They are humans. You're a human. So the human condition, what's up with the human condition? Why would they do that? If you're going into school and you have no reputation, no power, no say-so, nobody gives a damn, you're being bullied in here and there. How long do you think you could provoke a person before, they snap? Why would you want to provoke people? Why can't we be nicer? Instead of just being a bunch of assholes to each other, what if we instead just chose to be nicer? What if we chose to be nice to each other? There's a radical idea, America. So, before you pass your gun control, let's be nice to each other, America. Let's bake blueberry pies to each other, America. Let's believe each other, America. Let's fix our corrupt judicial system, America. Let's stop the poverty. Let's stop the child abuse. Let's, work on ourselves and develop ourselves and grow. We need wisdom. We need, enlightenment. We need to grow. We need to grow. Last, bit of information. Palestine. Now, some people are sitting there saying, well, Palestine fired 90 rockets into Israel, and, they have a right to defend themselves. Everybody has a right to defend themselves, but the Palestinian situation is a little bit more complex than them just shooting and then getting shot back out. They did shoot 90 rockets. Why? I don't know. Usually there's, some bombing or some incident that had precipitated right before this. So to ignore what happened prior, who starts it definitely matters, okay? So when it comes to Israel-Palestine, if I was to kidnap you, right, you live in your house, you live in your land, and I go into your house, and I kidnap you and I put you in the basement, then I keep your house. I keep your house, I keep your land, and then I invite more people over to take more of the basement, so you get smaller and smaller space. I'm not letting you leave the basement. I only give you enough food just for sustenance, but not enough to make you strong. And if you leave, I got to see your papers. So if you leave, I got to see your papers to go out to be a wage slave, right? You're allowed to leave, but you have to, make sure you're a slave for somebody. So if I'm oppressing the shit out of you, kept you locked up in a basement, you're not eating any food, more people are coming in, taking the little bit of space. It's your house. It's your land. And I'm doing all that to you. And then they snap and they say, you know what? I'm sick of this shit. Oppression. Oppression and slavery. That's, I mentioned murder and violence and rape being the, worst crimes out there. Slavery, oppression is a bitch. If you oppress somebody, you're stealing their life. You're stealing their soul. And that's what the school system is doing. It's totalitarian. They don't just want to, control your behavior. They want to control your thoughts. It's just a teacher. Obey authority. They're not, there's a bunch of things I could talk about with education, but there's no democracy, no civics. There's a lot of things that is totally fucked up about it. They don't even try to, say, hey, student, they don't care. You graduate. They don't care what happens to you. They just want you to shut up, sit down, hear some bullshit that PowerPoint. And the lectures, you only retain 5% versus, discussion, experience, and teaching others. Experience, you retain 75%. Einstein says experience is the only education. Everything else is just information. So you have to sit there, listen to a PowerPoint. You're only retaining 5%. You have all these kids, all these friends, your peers. You're not allowed to talk to them. You're not allowed to build relationships. You're not allowed to get friends. If you, like somebody or if you hit on somebody, if you flirt with it, then that might be, the crime of the century. I will not send my kids to public schools. I will not send them unless I know, for a fact that there's democracy there. I just know that there won't be. So, I'm going to write up a list and say these are my requirements. So when it comes to Palestine and Israel, I've heard all the arguments before. Oh, they're just doing this, they're just doing that. Palestinians are powerless. Israeli people are the ones that are going in with tanks. They're the ones that got nukes. They're the ones that, use wanton violence whenever. They're just cutting the grass, right, just to put Palestine under alert. And, they, strap it to their kids. They do this. They hide. They use, human shields. And the civilians, they're doing it all on purpose. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. The United States of America has given USA to both of them. We're an empire. If we actually had a fair deal for the two, then we could have a two-state solution. Instead of having a two-state solution, they just keep encroaching, taking more and more. There's a freedom flotilla, so you're talking about caring about Venezuela. Oh, yeah, you care about those starving people in Venezuela. You don't even care about the starving people here. And the Palestinians, there's a freedom flotilla that was going in there to give them food. And the Israeli people arrested them. So the Israeli people aren't even allowing food to go into Palestine. It's a humanitarian crisis, an open-air concentration. 24 Palestinians were killed, including 2 pregnant women and 2 toddlers. 260 sites were struck by Israel's response. So with Palestine, 4 Israelis were killed, including a civilian, compared to 24 Palestinians killed, 2 pregnant women, because I'm sure they're militants, and the toddlers. 2 little baby toddlers. 2 little tiny baby When it comes to child abuse, it's okay to use corporal punishment to hit some little kid's body, right? That's okay. Some little innocent kid's body, you can go ahead and smack around. That's totally fine, right? You'll get championed for that. That's good discipline. Palestinians getting killed.